Hey y'all, it's Alicia and welcome back to Alicia's Crafty Hoplop and to our first serious technical glitch, y'all. So I did a craft with me for this week featuring, I made this on camera, this sort of mixed media meets Minte flat mailer with you, and really it was like a craft discussion while we were building it. You see the policy envelope made from crinkly sandwich paper, and the pockets we built out of other sandwich paper. Yeah, and I used, actually for this project, I used both the Coca-Rosa background die, and I showed you how it cut out, and I explained to you it took 2 cuts through, so I gave it a B+, because I used the inexpensive chunky gold paper, the one I told you all it's really inexpensive, and it did need 2 rounds through the die cutter. Now, it cut out beautifully. You can see that, y'all. Take a look. But it did take 2 rounds. And I also used the Coca-Rosa gear die. Sorry about the glare, y'all. It's now a different time of day. And I was saying in the video when I did the craft with me that I hauled these ages ago. These are the Dilutions paper doll collage sheets. And y'all, they've just been sitting in my stash because I actually want, on my crafty bucket list, is to make my own paper dolls. So I actually have not been inspired to use these. But one of my best craft habits is if I buy it, y'all, I use it. So I was kind of disappointed in myself that I bought these, and I was like, you've got to use it besides your art journal. So I actually decided I needed to send a flat mail to a friend because I wanted to create some, you know, a card and some tuck spots. And I thought, well, this is a good chance to use that up. So y'all, I made this great craft and chat with me video. And then I went to upload it, and it wasn't that long, y'all, but it got defective. So the video is now damaged, and you can't remake something that you made on camera. That's what's interesting. My husband's like, can't you just redo it? And I'm like, how? We made this on camera. So this is now a different video. First of all, let me say it was a lot of fun to make with you on camera. Using the dies, I did use gear pieces and some sequins. It's an interesting mix because mixing Minte's life stories, that's why I thought it'd be so much fun to show you how you can use anything you have. Like I used the paper that Perry brought me, right, from New York. Look, I used the Minte's life stories, and because I wanted it to have kind of a mixed media feel. You would never think of, unless it's Garage by Minte, you'd never think of mixed media. But once you start distress staining it with black soot, which we did on camera, and once you, here it is, yeah. Once you start, you know, distress staining and adding the gear elements that I hauled from Ali ages ago, and you start building this up and you make it 3D and you use the unicorn stickles with the gold flecks for the lips, it starts becoming something very different. So I'm sorry you don't get to see the process of how we made this because the video was defective. But I thought it would still be fun to do a crafty chat and not just share this with you. So one of the things I talked about is that's my good practice, right? Using up stuff in my stash. My toxic craft habit is what you see here. Y'all, every time I make, this is really what it looks like. So I'm actually out in the living room with my husband's permission to mess this up because I needed a bigger space for filming so you could see, because the angles in my craft room are really tight. And I can't really film the whole mess as it happens. But here, you got to see me making and how messy it gets. That's probably my biggest toxic craft habit, is that I don't cut stuff like this as I showed you and then put it in the garbage. I wait till I'm done the whole project and then I clean up. So it's a big job usually. I don't know what your toxic craft habit is, but I'm curious to see it, y'all, down below. So please feel free to share it. And also feel free to share like what your good habits are. So besides using what's in my stash, one of the things I'm really good at, especially since COVID, is cleaning up all of my craft tools every week. I started that practice before COVID, if you all remember, and then I continued it in COVID. So I actually clean my bone folders, my scissors every week, my glue tips, everything I clean every week. Even the handles, because you know, the handles of my crocodile, look how clean they are, y'all. Considering how I'm such a messy maker, the only reason they look this clean is because I clean them every week. So what's your good craft habit? That's probably my best one. And then the other thing I talked about while making this with you was what is on my crafty bucket list. And the reason I made this as the project for this week is I really want to make these paper dolls myself. I don't want to buy collage sheets to make them. I want to do the whole thing myself, but that's a big project. And so it's on my crafty bucket list. I'd like to know what's on yours. Is it SVG files or doing a cut file or a big 3D project? I don't have many things on my crafty bucket list because they usually take a long time, the items that are on there. So I limit myself. But making these from scratch is definitely on my crafty bucket list. And then I was thinking about what's still my favorite craft supply. And I think I'm so indebted to my glue and my scissors that they're still my believe it or not, more than paper or ephemera. Glue and scissors for me, my tools are really important. What's interesting is that COVID, you know, necessity breeds invention, y'all. Like, I used to be such a messy maker that I had to use art glitter glue because I would like spill over. I use way too much glue, y'all, when I make. And if this make video hadn't been ruined, you would have seen I used both score tape and glue. And I used 3 glues for this project. Because I'm a bit nervous about things being shipped and it coming apart, but I use too much glue. And I know that from watching other people's craft with me, I'm too heavy-handed, y'all. All of that said, I used to have to use art glitter glue because I was too messy and the paper would buckle, or I don't know, y'all, something would go wrong. But I made this today using both Tonics, what's this one called? This is just a glue pen. It's their least expensive glue. I have their tacky glue, which can buckle if you're not careful, but none of this buckled, y'all. None of it. And I used this German fabric glue because it has a nice fine tip. I used that for this project too. So, you know, what's interesting is that in COVID, I started to have to use things like dollar store foam tape, which now I only use. I use dollar store foam tape to prop this up to make it more dimensional. I'm not buying expensive foam tape anymore because, you know, necessity taught me how to use these things better. So that's a good thing too, you know, but I would still say my scissors are really important, especially because I'm not a great fussy cutter. I actually even like these more than my Tim Holtz ones. I like both, but these are my preference for small detail cutting like this, where I want it to be perfect. What are your favorite craft tools? Like, what can't you live without? For me, scissors and my paper cutters and my crocodiles and things like that are my most valuable tools. And that's it, y'all. I'm a little disappointed you didn't get to make this with me on camera. It was a joy to make with you, and it's really too bad because it was a fun craft with me. Sometimes, y'all, technical things go wrong, and, you know, there's not much we can do about it. But I hope you at least enjoyed this crafty chit-chat portion, and I'll see y'all on Sunday, y'all. Thanks for being patient. Take care, y'all. See you Sunday. Bye for now.